Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Wednesday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So guys, lots of nice colors in the shop. We usually have lots of nice colors. The red, we haven't had a red car for a little while, so nice to have the color red back in our shop. Nice complement to all the greens and blues and the orange and everything else we got going on here. So anyway, let's see what happened today, guys. So Mr. Rafa was in today, of course. He works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I like to call Wednesdays Rafa Friday because he's off the rest of the week. So good for him. So he worked on this one again today, kind of kept the momentum going and did a handful of things. And one of which was to take the original dash script and clean it and put it on the dash, which of course we already put on its faux wood grain facing here recently. But yeah, there you go. So super nice detail. Karmann Ghias are such pretty cars. Just little things like that all over them. Gorgeous. And especially cool since that's original. And so he did that, and he worked some more up underneath here. So you guys know that I like funny names of Volkswagen parts. For example, the wiper rest for a Safari bus that sits in the middle of the window, the windshield kind of down there and holds the wipers is called the one-eyed duck. That's one of my favorite. One of my other favorites is this boot here, which goes over the horn. So Ghias have dual horns, and the sort of nickname or slang name for the thing that goes over them is the monkey diaper. And if you ever saw one that wasn't on installed on the car like that, you would know exactly what I mean. So the two horns there basically would be the leg holes of the monkey diaper, and I guess the waist of the monkey would be in that hole right there. So yeah, so that's where the horns, if you're not familiar with Ghias, that's where the horns honk through this big opening in the middle. And again, there's a pair. And unlike Beetles, which of course, and buses for that matter, which only have a single horn, these have two, and they are actually tuned to a slightly different tune. So one of them is a little bit higher, the other is a little bit lower. So kind of a distinctive horn sound from a Ghia, different than other Volkswagens with the dual horns that are again tuned at different frequencies. So yeah, that went in today, and the relay right there got wired in. So because there's two horns, it pulls obviously twice as much juice, current, whatever you want to call it, as a single horn. So Ghias use a relay there to help handle that power to drive both of those horns. Unlike a Beetle, where it's pretty much just hooked up directly to the fuse box. Essentially, this one goes through on these that goes through a relay to help kind of boost the power, so to speak. But anyway, yeah. So that went in today as well. Let's see what else. Lots of little things. Hood stoppers here went in. And these went in, which are actually, let's see if we can see those. It's very hard to see under here, guys. Sorry, I think you can kind of see. There it is. That is a drain tube, guys. So, yeah, there it is. You can see that. So, yeah, if water were to collect in this channel here, then this drain tube would help drain that out to the ground versus have it just sitting here and rotting it. Of course, on this car, where all these corners and stuff were rotted out, I suspect those drain plugs were probably, blocked long ago or whatever, because this was all rusted out on this car. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you know how extensive the rust was all around the hood of this car. The bottoms is the A pillars, the bottoms is the C pillars. It was everywhere, guys. This car was a challenge, but now look at it. Beautiful. So anyway, yeah, those little drain plugs went in today. I think he also installed the cover, which you can't really see, the access cover up underneath there for the shift rod. And I feel like there are some other things here too. Here's a big one. This is also like a Ghia thing that Beetles don't have, is there is a cover that you can see right there that kind of blocks off the back sort of inner fender area. So the area from about here up to the A pillar is just, it's kind of open on these actually. And so there's these metal plates here that have a seal all around them, and those get bolted on, and it keeps mud and moisture and stuff from getting into that area, which would cause this whole area here to rot out. So a common problem on these cars is those are either missing or, you know, full of holes or whatever themselves, and then water gets all in here and wreaks havoc. So yeah, anyway, those went in. Those things are kind of a pain, honestly. And then one of them had a they're supposed to have nuts on them, like weld nuts on them, and one of them, the weld nut was broken off, so Rafa had to weld a nut on it. You know, always little stuff like that, guys. I think it's just bolting parts on. There's always a catch to things like this. So let me see here. What else happened? Got my handy dandy list here. Speedometer cable grommet went in, which is right there. Speedometer cable went in. Antenna went in. It's a nice touch. We always put these on the passenger side. A lot of times they're installed on the driver's side. We don't really like the way that looks, so we put them on the passenger side. And then that way, typically, especially if you only have a driver's side mirror, then the mirror's on one side, antenna's on the other. If the antenna and mirror are both on the same side, it looks kind of like super cluttered on the one side, and then the other side has nothing. So we like balance, guys. We try and balance things out. So mirror on the left, antenna on the right. That's how we do it here. There's no right or wrong answer, but for us, I guess that's the right answer. The only other little thing is just these, there they are, the seals for the front turn signal housings, which we're gonna have to send those out and have those chromed along with the rings for the headlights and some stuff like that. And it needs re-chromed for this car. But yeah, so that was Rafa's day, guys. Continuing to put this beauty together. All right, hold on one second. Alrighty, so I continued working on the chassis today, which is of course for the Java Green 67 Beetle. And what I did on it today, first thing in the morning here, is went ahead and put on the spring plates, the torsion bars, all the grommets, the covers, etc. Went ahead and set all that up. That's one of those things that I really wanted to do before the body went on, because it's much easier when you have full access to all this back here than when you've got a fender kind of going over it and stuff like that. So yeah, I went ahead and put those on. Probably not going to put the transmission in until after the body's on, because again, I do like the idea of leaving this on wheels for a while at least. Its front end is there, of course. That's ready to bolt on and then be built out from there. The car's going to have four-wheel disc brakes. Probably mentioned that before. So those are all actually painted and prepped and ready to go. I think I already put the races in the bearings and everything. So those will be a matter of packing bearings on the front and, you know, just the back, just assembling it. But anyway, so after I put the rear suspension together, at least the spring plates and stuff, I went ahead and put on the body to pan seal. So there it is. Not the most exciting thing on earth to look at, but it's actually kind of a fun job. I don't know. I'm kind of a simple guy, I suppose, but I like putting that on, making it look all nice and neat. And then, you know, you go ahead and cut all the holes in it for the for the pan to body bolts. So yeah, pretty much, guys. We might have actually put this on the chassis today, but I really want Jacob to experience that firsthand. He was going to come in today and then something came up, so he didn't. So probably we'll be putting the body on the pan. I'll probably wait for Monday. If Jacob comes Monday, then me, Jacob, and Rafa will do it and go ahead and set it on there. And then I'll probably go ahead and let Jacob, you know, actually bolt them together once it's set on there. So that'll be a good experience for him. I think the last car that we put the body on the pan, he was around, but he didn't help. I don't know, he wasn't in that day or whatever. But trying to give him some good and cool experiences here other than like cleaning parts and pulling motors and stuff. But I'd be helping put cars together too, which is really the fun part. So yeah, that seal and rear suspension went on this one, and I think that was pretty much what I did on this one today. And then haven't got to this one yet. Turned my attention to this one, and so today, I think yesterday I had all the suspension and transmission, everything out. So today kind of turned my attention to the front of this car, and I had to start by pulling this massive thing out. The stereo for this, 2 enormous amplifiers, guys. I can't imagine how much volume these things would create in a car that small. You could probably like blow the windows right out of the car. I don't really get it, but that's cool. The current owner didn't install this system. I think it was in there when he bought it, but that was a pain in the ass to get out because it had this enormous bundle of wires that you see here that was all connected to it, like everywhere, with these massive positive and negative cables and a bunch of speaker cables that I numbered so I would, get them in the right order as far as front left, front right, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it actually took a while just to disconnect and remove that thing. And the big bundle of wiring through it, whoever put it in actually did a decent job. They cut a hole in the trunk liner there, and so that big bundle of wiring was passing through that. So I had to disconnect all that stuff as it ran along there and connected to the 2 amps, and then have Rafa kind of like remove that assembly from this side as I like fed the bundle of wires back through the hole on the other side. So kind of a 2-person job, honestly. It's very unwieldy to work on. So got that out, pulled out the gas tank, and then went to town here pulling the front suspension apart, pulled the steering coupler out, pulled the steering damper off, and then went ahead and disassembled, or pretty much just pulled the backing plates intact with the brakes and stuff on them. So we are converting this car to disc brakes. That's one of the main things it came in for. So I didn't even bother taking the brakes apart. Once you disconnect the brake hose from this, then at that point you pretty much just remove the 3 bolts that bolt the backing plate to the spindle, and that thing can come off as an assembly. So that came off, and then went ahead and pulled the spindle assemblies off, and the link pins are wore. So I went ahead and took both sides over to Brian Roth, who has all the tooling and stuff to press in new kingpins and ream them and press in link pin bushings and stuff like that. So yeah, so those are over with him now, and he'll machine them and put in new German king and link pins and bushings, etc., and it'll be as good as new. So in the meantime, still got to just continue, pull the shocks already, got to continue pulling this front beam here, steering box, and so on, and then getting ready to swap the new one on. So probably I won't be getting this on this week, but probably next week I'll be getting the front end back on this one. So that was pretty much my afternoon, guys. So speaking of this week, I will not actually be in tomorrow. Tomorrow is my son's 16th birthday, and so I am taking the day off, and we're gonna do some stuff, the 3 of us, my family, and celebrate his birthday. He's turning the big 16. Luckily, I hate to say it, but luckily he doesn't seem too interested in driving yet, so kind of probably keep it that way for a while. I know a lot of kids don't. I'm 55, no secret. I would think I might have literally gone on my birthday and got my driver's license, and that was kind of what we did back then. Now, a lot of kids, young people, they're just not quite as gung-ho as I think my generation was. I know that even Jacob, who's a car guy, I don't think he got his driver's license till he was 18 or so. So, yeah, I'm okay with my son not getting it for a while. We're happy to take him where he needs to go. But anyway, so I will not be in tomorrow. There will not be an episode tomorrow. So sorry for anyone who looks forward to me yapping about Volkswagens, but there will not be an episode of Brian Yaps about Volkswagens tomorrow. But we'll be back on Friday, and then I'm sure Saturday I'll be here monkeying around with my own cars. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, I think that is all that I have to say for today. So thank you all very much for watching, guys. Always appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the hypes, all the stuff like that that you guys do to help support the channel. So thank you very much. And I will see you not tomorrow, Thursday, but I will see you again on Friday. So thank you. See you soon.